Bye.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Knock Knock Eye with me, your host, Dr. Glockenflecken. This is your one-stop shop for all things eyeball related. This is my first time recording after the holidays. So I took a little break. I'm trying to just get my brain back in the swing of things. This is my first day back in the clinic after the new year and my first time recording. So bear with me. Wonderful holidays. I still have some tasks. Like I got to get rid of the tree. And we now live in a place that the living room has like a tall ceiling, like taller than any tree that we could find. And so my kids wanted to go like the biggest possible tree ever. And I mean, our ceiling, it's probably like 15-foot ceilings, right? Like you're not going to find a 15-foot tree, I don't think. So we ended up getting like an 11-foot tree, which is easily the biggest tree we've ever had as a family. And bringing it into the house was fine. Decorating it, I'm a tall guy. I'm 6'4", so I could reach high enough where I had to get on a step ladder, which is not what you're supposed to do. I'm sorry to all my ortho bros and emergency bros out there. I did get on a little step ladder. I did not fall. I did not hurt myself. But now I am faced with the task of removing the tree. And when it comes into the house, it's completely wrapped. It's easy. I did it myself. I could transport that thing into the house just fine. But now it's the needles falling off and it's giant. It's a big fat tree. It's not wrapped up all nicely. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I might just, and I posed this question to my wife last night. It's like, what if we just kept the tree all year? What would it look like? Assuming like maybe we just don't touch it at all. Obviously watering it's not going to do anything at this point because the thing is dead. But what if we just don't touch it? Don't disturb it at all? Would all the needles actually fall off? Or do you have to like kind of rub the tree? You have to knock into it. You have to jostle it to remove the needles. Like what if we just left it? Would it be okay? How long would it be okay? Can we do that? Is that possible? I know what the answer is. The answer is no. That's ridiculous. You can't leave a Christmas tree in your house for an entire year. I am kind of curious to know what it would look like 6 months from now, though. Just anyway. So I'm procrastinating. I'm still trying to get back in the swing of things. We had a very busy New Year's. We took a trip to Disneyland. That's right. The Glockenfleckens went Disney for New Year's. My kids are 10 and 13. This is the first time we've been to Disney since they were 4 and 7. And it was just my youngest was just becoming online, right? Has very little, if any, memories from Disney. That was the first mistake we made. Probably should have just waited a couple extra years. Is because like they're expensive memories. I'd like them to maintain them. So we wanted to go one more time while they're still young enough to like really appreciate the magic of Disney as children. Like I have a different appreciation for Disney as an adult. Like I can appreciate how much thought and effort went into all the attractions and everything, but it's not as magical as it is when you're a kid. And so we wanted one more big hurrah at Disney. And even just in the past 5-6 years, wow, I was burning a hole in my bank account. That place is something else. And the thing is, at the end of the Disneyland part of it, so we did one day at Disneyland Park, and then 2 days later, we went to Universal Studios Hollywood. The Disneyland, it's expensive, but like I was like, by the end of it, I was like, okay, that was worth it. It was mostly worth it. It's like 90% worth it. And because everything's done so well there. I'm not trying to like give an ad to Disney. They don't need my endorsement. I'm just honestly telling you what my impression of it was. The kids loved it. I mostly loved it. There was the threat of rain the whole time we were there. And so I don't think the crowds were as bad as they could have been. But man, they go all out with everything, and it's something else. There's nothing like it. And I compared it to going to Universal Studios, and it it's kind of night and day. It's very like the Universal Studios experience. They had some bright points like the Harry Potter world. Awesome. That was the favorite part for the whole family. I grew up on Harry Potter. My kids read the books and see this all the movies and everything. So we all it was it was awesome. It was great. And then my youngest is obsessed with The Simpsons. And so that's part of the main reason that we wanted to go to Universal Studios because they have Springfield. We got the pink donut, the big pink donut, and it was great. The big difference this time versus last time we did this whole thing was I cannot do any kind of ride that has like a video screen and you're moving. It's like a virtual ride where they're just moving you around and you're watching a screen, sometimes wearing 3D glasses. Oh my God. There's this ride at Disneyland, and I'll bring this around to medical here in a second. It's called Star Tours. You go in and you're sitting in this carrot in this like Star Wars type container, and you're wearing 3D glasses, and it's rocking, it's moving, it's going up, it's dropping, and you're seeing like 3D images. I had to take off the glasses and put my head between my legs and just pray for this thing to be over. I don't know how other adults do this. Like when I was a kid, I would ride roller coasters all day. I'd go to Six Flags Astroworld in Houston and ride things. We'd stay all day, and right around closing time, you could just ride the rides over and over again. You stay on the coaster and just do loops. I loved it, and I never got sick. But man, you put me in this thing, which is like a 90-second little virtual thing. I'm not going upside down, nothing. I thought I was going to die. I was praying for the sweet release of death. I needed this thing to be over, and it took me like a solid 2 hours to recover. And so something happens when you're an adult. You lose it. It's like if you don't use it, if you don't continue spinning and turning and going upside down in some form or fashion, you become an adult. You're just doing normal, boring adult things, and you lose the ability to tolerate that kind of stuff. I think there's something to that. It's like your inner ear, and so your semicircular canals, your cochlea, all these things, all the little hairs, they get used to you spinning and tumbling as a little kid, and then you don't do it for 15 years because you're in med school and residency, and all of a sudden you flip upside down on a roller coaster, and your inner ear is like, dude, what the hell are you doing? Like, no, this is you do not do this. You are 40 years old, sir. Do not do this. We're going to, your stomach cannot tolerate this. Your nervous system is crying now because of what you just did, because of this ride you went on. Was it worth it? Was it worth the lightning pass? I don't know. Maybe not. I mean, it was for the kids loved it. So that factors into the consideration, but man, I struggled. So am I the only one? Please tell me other people have this experience and I'm just not becoming like some kind of frail old guy that can't go upside down. I can do roller coasters much better. It's those 3D glasses things and the moving back and forth, the jostling and looking at a screen. God, oh man. And there were several of them. There were more at Universal Studios Hollywood. So just FYI, if you're going to Universal with your kids, maybe get the kids the express pass so they don't have to wait in long lines if you can afford it. It's a lot of money, but man, you save hours and hours. So I still think it's worth it, but I wouldn't have done that for myself because I wouldn't have gone on half of those rides. They were rough. But kids loved it. And that's the main reason why we went, right? It's cool. Also, the other thing we did, which the kids were obsessed with, and this is their big like Christmas present, by the way. So because this is a big deal. When we got on New Year's Eve, we flew into LA and I got tickets for us to see Stranger Things, the finale, because my kids are both obsessed with Stranger Things. Kristen and I, we've watched the show as well, and it's fine. It's an entertaining show, and we went to see the finale at New Year's Eve with a theater full. The whole thing sold out, and I was lucky to get tickets. We saw it in a theater. It's a whole new experience seeing it with a bunch of other people. So if you haven't, I'm not going to ruin the finale for anybody if you haven't seen it already, but uh, chances are if you're a Stranger Things fan, you've probably seen it. The kids loved that. It was overall great trip. And now 2026, here we are back for another year of podcasting. Happy to be with you all. So it's just a belated happy new year to all of you. I hope all your dreams come true in 2026. I hope all your healthcare dreams come true. Here's something, here's the rundown for the rest of this episode. We're going to take a break. I'm going to come back. I've got a question about AI and doctors that I'm going to pose to all of you as just a thought question. And then after that, we will get into some eyeball stuff. I'm going to bring things back to basics for something about taking a history as for someone who has an eye problem, just general, just basic stuff, and then bring up a patient that actually I saw just today in clinic. And interesting diagnosis that I haven't seen since residency, and even in residency, just once or twice. So let's take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll get into all this stuff. Hey, Kristen.
Yeah.
How come people only talk about being cozy and warm and wrapped up during the holidays?
I don't know. I like to be cozy all year long, every single month.
Exactly. When the holidays wind down, that's what I crave the most. I still want to feel that way.
Right. And I need a lot of rest after the holidays. So it's nice to be able to wrap yourself up.
And that's exactly what Cozy Earth delivers. Luxury comfort that makes home the best part of your life. And now you can get a 100-night sleep trial with Cozy Earth and a 10-year warranty, because once you feel this level of comfort, you'll want it to last a whole decade.
That's right.
Start the new year off right and give your home the luxury it deserves and make home the best part of your life. Go to CozyEarth.com and use my code KNOCK for up to 20% off. And if you get a post-purchase survey, be sure to mention you heard about Cozy Earth right here. Give the gift of comfort that lasts beyond the holidays and carries into a cozy new year. Okay, here we are, 2026, and thinking to the future, and things I've seen on social media. A lot of people on X, forgive me, I can't give it up. I use it for like breaking news, but mostly for sports, to be honest. But other things creep into my social media feed on Twitter, on X, and things that I necessarily don't want to see or don't care about. But anyway, they're there. But a lot of people love AI. They love AI. I like certain aspects of AI, and I dislike other aspects of AI. And so, for medical things, I think there's some decent applications. But here's a question that I'd like to pose. All right, let's say in a world that a lot of people envision and maybe even hope for, a world where physicians are replaced by AI, where you can get your full body MRI that's interpreted entirely by AI. All right. And that gives you a diagnosis of something, or even says everything's normal. But then turns out, you had a pancreatic cancer or some kind of tumor that turns out was probably there on the scan, but didn't get picked up early enough. You're that patient. Horrible thing that happened, right? You have cancer. All right. Because this is America, somebody's got to get sued. Who gets sued? Who is it? Who? Honestly, if it's all AI driven, who are you blaming? Because again, it's got to be somebody. this is America, you guys. It's somebody dropped the ball. You got to get sued. All right, who's going to be the AI company? Well, guess what? There was an article about apparently somebody is suing Prenuvo, and the article. So Prenuvo is this one of these companies that does these full body MRIs, and they're not, as far as I know, not using AI to do the interpretations, but they're getting sued because something was missed. And the article, it's like Prenuvo was like, could not believe that this was a possibility, or that the possible damages from one of these lawsuits. And my reaction to that is like, welcome, welcome to the club. You want to play doctor? You want to play healthcare? You want to do all this? Well, welcome, because this is part of it. This is the liability stuff. It's nowhere else in the world is it like this than in the US. And I'm not saying like, doctors, people shouldn't be held accountable for mistakes, but it's to a different level here in this country. That's what I'm saying. And so the fact that this company, it's a tech company playing in healthcare, is shocked and appalled that they could be on the hook for such a lawsuit. I mean, come on, it comes with the territory, guys. But so it got me thinking, like, okay, well, what if it's all AI done? It's all AI, and the AI makes a mistake. Who's on the hook for that? Is it the AI company? Is it so I posed this question on my social media account. I think it was the day after Christmas. These are the things I think about on my holiday break. And and the responses were interesting. A lot of people were like, well, it could be the AI company, but chances are people are not going to read the terms and conditions. Okay, so terms and conditions make it to where you can't sue the AI company. I don't think that would work for doctors. Like, like we can't have. I just don't understand that, because like I can't, when a patient checks in, like, have them sign something that says, I am not liable for any damages, for any medical issue that might come up. Like that's not a thing. That does, I don't think it is, at least. Maybe some lawyers can chime in. So is it the health system that uses the AI platform, right? Because you got to go somewhere to get the MRI. And so is it the people that own the MRI machine, or that own that do the billing for the AI doctor to do their thing? Are they on the hook? Is that who you sue when things don't go well? Well, if that's the case, if it's a health system, we will have tort reform so fast, you guys. Like, the minute it's now not doctors that are getting sued, it's health systems, it's hospitals, because they use an AI doctor, an AI application to do their healthcare delivery in certain situations. Oh man, you better believe every state is having tort reform, and being able to sue anybody is going away completely. It's just like, these are the things that I think a lot of people don't think about, because they don't, especially people in tech, they have this one track mind. They have this one problem they're trying to solve. The problem is our healthcare system, everything is so unfathomably complex that you don't think about all these other things that go into what it is to practice medicine. And so who's to blame? What happens when things don't go well? Because that's going to happen. It's already happening. We've hear about the hallucinations, and maybe that's going to get better with AI. I'm sure it will, but still, like these are problems that people don't think about until they happen, and I don't know. So I'm curious to hear what you all think. Who's on the hook for AI's mistakes? You can't sue an artificial intelligence. I guess the companies that make them, but then do the terms and conditions mean anything? I don't know. So the bottom line here is, I am very dubious of the doomsdayers and the AI bros who all think that everybody's going to get replaced physicians, doctors are going to get replaced. I could see it happening at some point for certain things. Like the radiology thing is feasible. Like you can imagine a world where AI is so good that it would be malpractice not to use AI as opposed to human eyeballs to look at scans. I don't know if that's ever going to be a reality, but then all the downstream effects from that are something we gotta think about. So I don't know. It's interesting though. All right, let's talk eyeball, shall we? All right, I'll do one thing real quick before we take one more break. Um, one other thing I was going to mention. We watch a lot of movies on over the holidays. Like we like holiday movies, but I watched one. I try to watch a lot of the Oscar movies that are going to be featured in Oscars. So this is just quick aside, has nothing to do with anything. I watched a movie that I just really liked. I'd want to mention. It was called Sentimental Value. If you haven't seen this, it's an excellent family drama. It's a great sister movie. So when my kids are old enough, I want them to watch it. It's a great movie about sisters and their relationship. So I just want real quick throw that out there. All right, Sentimental Value. Please check it out. It's a really good movie. Okay, so here's what I want to do. Let's talk about taking a history, an eyeball history. Um, People come in to all different types of places in the healthcare system, not just the ophthalmologist or the optometrist with an eye problem, right? They may come to see an internal medicine doctor, or they may mention it when they get admitted to the hospital for some unrelated thing, chest pain, but turns out they got some kind of problem with their eyes. They're not seeing well. Obviously, emergency medicine, urgent care, there's so many places. Your family medicine, your pediatrician. And so I think it's hard for people to really wrap their head around, especially if you don't see a lot of patients with eye problems. What do you ask? Like, what are the important points when you're triaging these types of things? Because for the most part, with urgent or emergent eye problems, you're just trying to figure out if this is something that's happening with this patient that they're going to go blind from. Chances are that's not the case, especially if they come in for something unrelated. They just happen to have an eye problem. That's probably not going to be a blinding condition. But it's important to know, like, what do I ask the patient? What am I listening for? And so we're going to go through a few chief complaints that patients come in with, and what are the things that me as an ophthalmologist, like when you're on the phone with me talking to me about this patient, what are the things I'm listening for that perk up my antenna to think, oh, this patient might be seriously in trouble as far as their eyesight goes. All right. The first one is probably the most common: decreased vision, blurry vision. My vision sucks, whatever it is. All right. There's something wrong with the vision. All right. So here are the questions you ask for someone who says they have blurry vision. First of all, you want to know how blurry it is compared to their baseline, because that means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. All right. Some people say, oh, my vision's awful, but they're like 20/25. They're seeing okay. It's just they're so used to pinpoint perfect, crisp 20/10 vision that even going down to 20/20 is an astronomical decline. Right. But some people really do have really poor vision. They go from being able to read the chart to all of a sudden you can only see a hand moving in front of their face. Right. So, how much worse is that blurry vision, that worsening vision, quote unquote, compared to their baseline? All right. Just a little bit worse? Is it a major decline? Can they see things in front of them? Can they see road signs still? Throw out some examples. Like before this happened, like let's say 2 days ago, were you able to read a book? Were you able to watch TV okay and see things on the screen, read captions? If do real life examples. And now can you do that? Maybe they can, but just not as easily as they used to. So comparing what it is now as best you can using real life examples to what it was before this thing started. Maybe they can't tell you that. Maybe it's, oh, well, it's been a gradual thing. And that's the other key point to know with history. How quickly has this vision loss occurred? Has it been over the course of months that's just been gradually getting worse? Weeks? Days? Has it been within a couple hours the vision's gotten worse? In general, the quicker the vision loss, the more concerned you need to be. Patient comes into you for your just general exam, yearly exam, diabetic exam, whatever it is, and they're like, oh, my vision's been getting worse over the past 6 months. That's not someone you need to send over directly to the ophthalmologist or emergency department. If they say, whoa, my vision, I just lost it. My vision went black, or it's really blurry all of a sudden in my left eye. All right. You're you're a little bit more on the edge of your seat thinking about this. All right. You want to ask more questions. All right. So timing. How quickly did the vision loss occur? Another part is there pain associated with it? In general, painful, severe vision loss, that's a pants patient, you guys. That's a patient. When you tell me on the phone, this patient was 2020, and now they're count fingers vision. All they do is count fingers, and they're having a lot of pain. I am, as you're talking, I am putting my pants on and coming in to see that patient in the emergency department. Or I'm telling you to send that patient over to the eye clinic if it's during business hours. Because remember, ophthalmologists, you know, we like our work-life balance. But that's a patient that needs to be seen right away, right? So how quickly the vision loss occurred, the timing of it, all right? Is there pain? Those are the two big questions. And one thing that you always ask every patient with an eye, did you have any recent eye surgery or recent eye trauma? All right, those are two quick questions. Get them out of the way. All right, ask them every single time because that rules out post-op infection or other types of potential infection with trauma. So very important to know. All right, so that's vision loss. Those are the two big things, though. How quickly and is there pain? Is there pain? All right, so going along this line of thinking, let's say a patient comes in with eye pain. All right, that's their big complaint. The first thing, the most important thing, is there any vision change? If the pain, if they're like, oh, I have an ache behind my eye, but the vision's okay, you're way less concerned. If they're having a lot of eye pain, they're holding their head, they're just looking miserable, but their vision's bad as well, you're concerned. All right. Heightened level of concern. So in addition to just not just the pain itself and the quality of the vision, but also the type of pain. And this is the thing with ophthalmology. For a lot of eye problems, I can get a pretty good sense of what the diagnosis is going to be just by the presenting symptoms, the history that people come in with. So pain, you can localize it based on the type of pain. So pain behind the eye, pressure, people often describe pressure behind the eye. 99% of the time, not an eye problem. It's going to be some form of headache, migraine, sinus pressure, none of these things eye problem. Most of the time, vast majority of the time, I do not come to a conclusive diagnosis with someone with that problem because it's just the eye exam ends up being fine. So pressure, that's pressure. Sharp stabbing pain, usually going to be something in the front of the eye. And that could be something quite serious. It could be a corneal infection, could be a corneal abrasion, could be infection, light sensitivity. If the pain's more like sensitivity to light, that could be inflammation inside the eye, what we call uveitis. That could also be, it could be a wide range of things. It could also be a corneal abrasion. And then dull, aching, sharp stabbing, like all these things, they localize to different parts of the eye, right? So in general, the more sharp, the more severe, the the more you're looking at kind of more front of the eye, potentially inside the eye, and potentially more serious things. Okay. Burning, that's another common one. That's more dry eye. People are like, oh, I've got just this constant burning. People describe it as irritation. That's going to be mostly dry eye problems, surface of the eye things. Itching, Itching is very specific for an allergic reaction. It could be, a periorbital allergy where they have red, itchy, scaly skin around the eye. That's pretty common. It could be the eye itself that they have conjunctiva that has these things called follicles that indicate an allergy. But itching is very specific for allergy. That's usually not something that's real severe. It needs an immediate appointment with an eye doctor. So that's presenting symptom of eye pain. So we've done decreased vision, we've done eye pain. Let's take a break and we'll do a couple more presenting signs and symptoms. Hey, Kristen.
Yeah.
I just have to talk more about Demodex blepharitis.
I'm sure you do.
I just love all things eyeballs, but not the mites this time, though.
Okay. I appreciate that. Thank you.
We're talking about collarettes.
Okay, the crusties.
Crusties. Yeah, it's kind of a cute name for Demodex blepharitis.
I guess.
Finding on exam. The thing is, I want to educate patients that you can't always see these things yourself.
Oh, and you can't feel them?
No, because they're so small. So you have to come in to see the eye doctor, either an optometrist or an ophthalmologist. We use a microscope. We can see all the collarettes on there.
Okay.
And because it's hard for people to connect this sign on your exam with all the symptoms
because they can't even see it or feel it.
Right, the itchiness, the redness, the irritation that could be due to Demodex blepharitis. It's a great time now to make an appointment with your eye doctor before the end of the year and deductibles reset.
Yes.
You got to
Very important.
To see more pictures of crusties and eyelids with Demodex blepharitis, visit miteslovelids.com. Again, that's miteslovelids.com to learn more. This ad is brought to you by Tarsus Pharmaceuticals. Oh, another common one. This is one specifically mostly for urgent care and emergency, is flashes and floaters. With flashes and floaters, you want to know what I would like to know is how, if possible, tell me how nearsighted they are. People who are nearsighted or have had prior retina problems, like they've had a retinal tear before or a retinal detachment, they're going to know, first of all. So you can ask them that. Have you ever had any problems with your retina before, as far as you know? And they're like, I don't think so. Then they probably haven't. If they have, they've had lots of treatment. They've had lasers. They've had potentially surgery. They're going to know they've had problems with the retina, and they'll tell you. But that's helpful to know, because if they've had prior issues with their retina, high chance that with any flashes and floaters, they might have a retinal tear, retinal detachment. We should know about that. If you don't have that information, or you don't know if the patient's nearsighted, which puts them at increased risk of retinal detachments, retinal tears, that's okay. Like, that's not imperative that we have that information, but it does help us determine the risk that this patient has as far as the potential for retina problems. For flashes and floaters, obviously asking about a curtain. So when we say, do you see a curtain? That means like there's an area of their vision that's grayed or blacked out. It could be from the top, could be from the bottom, could be from the side. But whenever your retina starts to detach, your photoreceptors are not active because they are not connected where they need to be connected to the back of the eye. And so you're not going to see anything in the area of the detachment. Now, for the detachment to actually start to affect the visual field to where you see a curtain, it has to be a pretty significant detachment. So if someone says, oh yeah, I've got this like bubble or this area up here, it's just getting a little bit worse, it's like gray, that's highly concerning for a retinal detachment. All right, so call your local eye doctor, be like, hey, I think I got someone here, might be a retinal detachment. They had some flashes the other day, some new floaters. We'll see them. And then the last thing, as far as people coming in with a history of an eye problem, is double vision. Well, I'm not going to, double vision gets very complicated very quickly. So I'm just going to give you one thing. And that's how to determine monocular versus binocular double vision. Very, very important. Patient comes in with double vision. All right, here's what you can do. You can, first of all, have them cover one of their eyes. All right. If the double vision goes away, have them cover their other eye. If the double vision goes away, that is true binocular diplopia. That person has a misalignment to their eyes from something either happening in their orbit or in their brain. All right. So potentially serious things. So they have a misalignment that they cover one eye. All of a sudden, obviously, that misalignment goes away, right? They're just looking with one eye. So the double vision, the extra image is going to be gone because they're covering their eye. That is true binocular diplopia. If you say, okay, cover your right eye, all right, patient covers their right eye and they still have double vision. They're like, oh, well, out of this eye, I still see 2 or 3 images. That's not an ocular misalignment. How would you be able to know if they have an ocular misalignment? Because they're just using one eye. That's monocular, one eye diplopia. 99 times out of 100, dry eye. Much less concerning. Okay. And then you can probe further. If you suspect that the double vision is actually just a one eye double vision, ask him, okay, do you see 2 of me right now? When you look at things, do you actually see 2 images, 2 completely separate images? Or is it more like a ghosting of the image? Like you see just like a partial image right next to the images. And most of the time, a lot of times when people have monocular diplopia and you mention ghosting, they're like, that's it. That's exactly what it is. It's like a ghosting of the image or a shadow of the image. That's very classic with dry eye. And then you're done. You can save that patient a whole stroke workup because you know it's just monocular diplopia. Something that they can follow up with the eye doctor down the road. So that's all I want the non-ophthalmologist to know about double vision. Okay. Be able to recognize monocular versus binocular. And then those extra couple like just points of like, okay, are they actually 2 images that are completely separate or just a little bit of a shadow or ghost of the image? Save yourself a lot of time and anxiety and stress with that simple distinction. Okay. The last thing we're going to do before we wrap up here is talk about a patient that I saw. So I'll tell you the presentation. This should be fairly quick. The patient comes in, new patient to us, but had been seen at another practice in another state like 3 years prior. With so he has a history of what he just says is high pressure in his eye. Okay, so he comes in today. Notice he's not in a lot of pain when I first walk in and see him. He's middle aged and not in a whole lot of pain. He says just a little bit uncomfortable, maybe a little bit light sensitive as well. Vision's a little bit blurry, about 20/30, so not too bad. You're pretty good. The other eye's totally fine. This is his right eye that's affected. Left eye totally fine. So we checked his vision, obviously 20/30. Check his pressure. Obviously, that's usually the next thing we do. Check pressure, 52. The other eye is 18. Normal pressure is between 11 and 21. 52. So usually someone with a pressure of 52 is in an extraordinary amount of pain. Very uncomfortable, sometimes nauseous, sometimes throwing up. And doubled over, like it's like an ice pick in their eye. This guy is not any of that, which is a little bit unusual. He said, yeah, this is exactly like what happened a few years ago. I was like, did you get a diagnosis or anything? He's like, no, they did some tests. So I looked at the eye with the slit lamp. He's got some inflammation in the eye, a mild amount of inflammation. It's not much, just a few little white blood cells floating around inside the eye, but definitely there. It's definitely inflamed. A little bit of redness to the eye, which goes along with that inflammation, also goes along with high eye pressure. And so now we're thinking, okay, what are the potential causes of inflammation inside the eye along with a high pressure? Well, one of those, probably the most common one, would be a herpes infection. So herpes, classically, when you have a herpetic uveitis, which is a fancy term for inflammation in the eye, that classically gives you an elevated eye pressure, as opposed to uveitis for most other conditions, usually causes a lower pressure in that eye. because when you have inflammation like a uveitis inside the eye, it basically shuts down the part of your eye that makes aqueous fluid, which is your ciliary body. It kind of shocks it. So it's not working like it should. It stops producing. It's like turning off the faucet in your bathtub. All right. If the drain's open still, well, then all the water is going to drain out. The pressure is going to go down. All right. That's typically what happens with normal cases of uveitis. But with herpes, that is very classic for the pressure to actually be a little elevated. But unusual to have an elevated pressure that high, and also without much discomfort and pain. That's kind of strange. So it's like, okay, herpes is possible, but it's just not adding up. It's not the right clinical picture. And then you start thinking about his history. Okay, well, the same thing happened a few years ago. He was given a little bit of steroid, some pressure lowering drops, brought the pressure down pretty quickly. So what kind of thing can give you like multiple, like a recurrent episodes of really high pressure in one eye, the same eye, along with a little bit of inflammation? And so, and I'm not sure, I'm sending this patient over to one of my partners who has probably seen more patients like this, but I suspect this patient has something called Posner-Schlossman syndrome. What's called glaucoma cyclitic crisis. So it's a disease that is classically acute unilateral recurrent attacks of high eye pressure accompanied by very mild anterior chamber inflammation. So the pathophysiology, we actually don't know what causes this. It's very, very annoying when that happens. We don't know why some people get it. Several theories have been proposed, ranging from autoimmune to infectious, but really the treatment, controlling the eye pressure, controlling the inflammation, which is what we're doing with this gentleman. Now, and we've sent all the testing as well. You always look for certain infectious causes, anything from TB and syphilis to HLA-B27 autoimmune conditions. And so we'll see what all of that shows. I suspect it's going to be normal, especially if it's this disease. Posner, I don't know, Posner or Posner, Schlossman. I wonder if Posner and Schlossman had an argument about who went first in the naming of this. I would say Schlossman Posner does sound a little bit unusual. So I think they chose the right order of things. We do seem to see it in patients with CMV uveitis, cytomegalovirus, but that's also typically seen in people with who are immunosuppressed. This patient is not immunosuppressed. So interesting presentation. Interesting. It's not very common that you see a patient with a pressure of 50 and is relatively unconcerned, like unbothered and not in a lot of pain. I wouldn't say unbothered, definitely is bothered by it, but functioning okay with a relatively normal pressure. So we'll see what my partner thinks, and if he agrees that's what's going on. But yeah, that made my morning a bit exciting. So we'll see what the afternoon holds. That's it for Knock Knock Eye. Thank you all for being here, for following along, for listening, for commenting over on the YouTube channel at Glockenfleckens. Go check that out if you want to watch me. And I appreciate just all the support over the years. We're going on maybe, I think, a year and a half of doing Knock Knock High episodes. Our podcast, Knock Knock High, has been over 2 years now. And it's still going strong. They're still enjoying it. And I appreciate really all the kind words and support. And so that's it. Thanks to my producers, Aaron Courtney, Rob Goldman, and Shanti Burke. Editor and engineers, Jason Pertiza. Our music is by Omer Benzvi. We'll see you next time, everyone. Take care.
Knock, knock, goodbye.
Thanks for watching the episode. You can find more on that playlist over there. If you prefer to listen, or you just had your eyes dilated, you can binge full episodes wherever you get your podcasts, or join the party over on Patreon, where you get early access episodes, hang out with us, get lots of exclusive bonus content. Help you subscribe, leave a comment below. Let us know what you think.